Hello everybody, this is the Sync Weaver, well rested and still waking up at somewhere 4 o'clock in the morning. So, yesterday I did a kind of a first view analysis on the trailer on 3.2, the Gears of Change, and now that I'm well rested and I have my thoughts together and I've actually done my research, I can actually properly explain the trailer and some of the tidbits that are in there. So, let's begin. Now first things first, this lovely creature in Containment Bay S1T7 isn't the Ashura creature that I thought he was before, and he is from Final Fantasy VI, but not just from like the mod hack version. He's actually a boss from Final Fantasy VI. He was one of the last 3 bosses you fought in Kefka's Tower before you fought Kefka himself, and is one of the warring triad that controlled magic, one of the gods of magic basically. His name was Fiend, if I remember correctly, and Doom in the Game Boy Advance. I could be wrong about that, but I do specifically remember his name being Fiend. And as I said before, he's part of the Warring Triad, along with Demon and Goddess. Now, he had the most HP in the original NES version, but had the 3rd highest in the Game Boy Advance version, and if I recollect right, he was kind of a bitch to take down, so it's kind of interesting to see him in 14. I kinda wonder what he's gonna be like. Alright, now to know what he is in 14. Instead of being just Fiend or Doom in Final Fantasy 14, he is known as Sephiroth the Fiend, and is actually a primal for a tree-like race of beastmen who went against the Allagan invasion. Now, he brought about a whole bunch of destruction until he was sealed away by the Allagans in Azaz Law, so we're probably going to find a point in Azaz Law, go somewhere deeper into that one section in Azaz Law and fight him. And it's only for level 60 and up, of course. He seems to be a very hard boss, and he's gonna have an extreme mode, so be careful with him. He's probably gonna fuck us up. Now, from what I know from the Feast, it's gonna be an 8v8 and 4v4 solo or party kind of thing. It's gonna be ranked and unranked matches, and I think it's gonna stir up a lot of commotion in the PvP community, so I think I'm gonna actually get back into PvP with the Feast. It looks very interesting. Now on to the Hall of Novice, and also there's something called the Mentor system also within this. Now the Hall of Novice is for new players, newer players actually, so upon reaching level 15 in the discipline of War Magic, the player can speak to an NPC located at the Adventurers Guild in each city or several other locations. They can undertake several training exercises, and depending on their role, that exercise could be different from one thing to another. So it could be trying to be a DPS, or maybe trying to be a tank or healer, it depends, but each and every exercise is dependent on whether you're a tank, a DPS, or a healer. Now upon success, they actually gain a reward for this, and I think that's pretty cool for newer players. This is encouraging new people to play, and I'm fully supporting this. So let me explain what the mentor system actually is. The mentor system has veteran players helping out new players by becoming a mentor, but in order to be a mentor, they have to meet these requirements. For those of War and Magic, you have to complete at least 1 level 60 quest as a tank, healer, and DPS. Now, it has to be at level 60 job quest as a tank, healer, or DPS. You have to complete 1,000 dungeons, raids, or trials and receive 300 commendations, which is a hefty sum just to be a mentor in the disciplines of War and Magic. Now, for the disciplines of Hand and Land, you just need to reach level 60 with at least 1 discipline of Hand and Land, that means you have to be both. Synthesize 100 collectibles and gather or catch 300 collectibles, which is pretty easy for Hand and Land. My deal with War and Magic is that I'm not a healer and I suck at healing, so it's probably going to take me forever to do that. But until then, I encourage a lot of other people to sign up to become mentors and help out the new players so that we don't have sucky ones down the line. Now, Stone Sky Sea is actually a training area where you go against dummies that are as strong as legendary foes and all that whatnot. So you're testing your might against these training dummies and seeing if you have what it takes to be the best of the best. Kinda interesting. I wanted to see if they have any rewards for it, actually. Now, the new Beast Tribe quest will be brought to us by the Nath. They are the insect-like beastmen that are linked by thoughts. basically hive mind, and they serve the overmind. We'll be helping out the non-mind this time, who are not linked by the overmind. So I think this is going to be a new tribe. They're not going to be the same tribe as we helped before, and there's going to be cooler rewards, except for this unidentifying flying object, which I have no idea what it is. Now, I knew this was going to be a thing, because I was very interested with the Charlians in the first place. The anti-tower was something that was built by the Charlians, but was abandoned after the Exodus. So now we're going in the anti-tower to see what's left there. Now, I believe the anti-tower was created to figure out what this planet or star was all about, and I believe it goes somewhere maybe near the center of the planet to the core or something. I don't think it's really to the core, but it's basically a major study of the planet itself. And since it's abandoned, well, it's up to the heroes of light to figure out what's going on in the anti-tower. So, we went to the lost city of Amdapor before, and there we fought Diablos and defeated him. We thought it was clear, we thought we were done, but apparently there is an even more unknown evil somewhere in Amdapor, and we have to go back inside and figure out what it was. Since they were trying to cleanse the city in the first place, and they wanted to do something to help the ruin, there was something going on, because apparently the spirits just fled right out of there, and now they're seeking our aid again to go back inside, but now we're going deeper into the city and figuring out what is exactly at its core. Okay, so about Hildebrand. I'm not going to spoil anything. I suggest if you guys haven't gotten started on Hildebrand, go ahead and do it. It's a completely hilarious quest. Alright, moving on. So, along with having new hairstyles, which I need to change mine anyway, we get to have new recipes. These new recipes will coincide with weapons, gears, accessories, armor, doesn't matter. But if you are a person, a mender, or armor or anything, these new recipes will be something to invest in. Other than the recipes, however, we also have, and I'm pretty sure all of you know, we're going to be getting a new Allegan tombstone of lore, which means that we're going to be losing a tombstone of soldiery. So if you guys are still holding on to your soldiery, trade it in for poetics as soon as possible, because we are no longer going to have soldiery, and it's going to be completely deleted out of the game. Even more updates on the Allegan tombstones. Law will no longer be obtainable through trials and duties, because they will be switched out with esoterics, and the cap is still going to be at 2000, so for those of you who are trying to get esoteric stuff, this will be a lot easier for you. Okay, this is going to drive me insane, but Alexander Midas is the new raid dungeon. We're actually going to go up the other arm, because for some reason, the thing is still moving even though we destroyed the core. So the Illuminati is doing something in the middle of somewhere in the core of the city of Alexander. And we, as the Warriors of Light, have to go in there and stop them. This place is gonna drive me fucking insane. I can't wait to do this. I can't wait to do this. I'm gonna die so fucking much. The new main scenario that's going to happen, and I'm actually very excited about this because we actually get to know what's happened to the rest of the crew, what's happening with Ishgard, why are people going nuts. Basically, people who are stuck with the old times are fighting the people who are trying to go with the new times. Basically, people who hate the dragons and people who now love and respect the dragons, along with Sir Emmerich, who is now the holy see of the whole entire city. But there are certain rebellions going upon the city, and we as the Warriors of Light have to help them, and that's the new scenario. And I'm actually completely excited about this, because the story is one of the driving forces for me for playing this game. Also, the one last thing I want to talk about is that boss I saw in the anti-tower, and that giant doll thing is actually a boss from Final Fantasy IV. Her name is Calcabrina. So if any of you guys put down in the comments Calcabrina from Final Fantasy IV, you get major respect and kudos from me. So yeah.